in ways that I don't prefer necessarily. But they win a lot of the games, especially when they're going to play a team that's down a bunch of guys, a team that's not atop the conference. They're going to win the games. I still have my questions, like a lot of people do, about the philosophy, about I just have my questions. Obviously, they shoot the ball well from three. They're going to win a lot of games, but are they going to win enough games doing that to win a series against a really good team, against an Oklahoma City, against the Denver, against the Knicks team that beat you at full strength last year when you had Drew Holiday, when you had Kristaps Porzingis, and a team that won a championship the year before? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to use that formula, avoid going cold, and have the math play out in their favor where they're going to make enough threes to win every series. I just don't know if the math will do it for them. And I'm not an analytics guy by any means. They're analytics people. I'm not. But I don't know if you're eventually going to go cold. You're eventually going to hit a bad rut or a cold streak, and you're going to not make those shots. And the other team, depending on their philosophy, is going to make shots because it might not all be three-pointers. So I question that. But Derek White, you couldn't ask for a bigger game tonight from a guy like Derek White. I loved what I got from Hugo Gonzalez tonight. I felt like a big turning point, not a big turning point, but one of the turning points in the game. Early in the fourth quarter, Gonzalez gets the steal. He throws it off to Keita, who I think it was Keita, who I thought he almost made a backwards pass, a backcourt violation. He just hadn't gone over the line, so it counted. And then Sam Hauser hits an in-transition rainbow three. It felt like the Celtics didn't look back from there. Now, I don't maybe that wasn't the turning point specifically, but it felt like one of those parts of the game where that was kind of that in that moment. So the Celtics do what they need to do tonight, execute, and now it's about continuing to do that and win those types of games as you bide your time until Jason Tatum gets back. And I don't think there's any question that this team needs to find a way to hang around. You're at Toronto, you're home against Indiana early next week, and then you play on the day after Christmas at Indiana, and then it's that road trip on the West Coast, at Portland, at Utah. This is a stretch of winnable games for the Celtics. And I think this is a stretch where they can really establish that they're going to hang around. The Eastern Conference is whatever. I just don't think this year. Now, obviously, Oklahoma City is a different animal. It's a different animal out there. I think they're going to set the wins record. But, you could find a way to hang around until Jason Tatum comes back. And then who is in your way in the East? The Knicks. Cavs haven't looked like the team that they've been the last few years. I'm not saying they can't make noise or figure it out. But the Knicks feel like the Pistons, are they ready? You've played the Pistons, you've beaten the Pistons, you've lost to the Pistons. That'll be a tough series. They've got some playoff experience, but if you get Tatum back, I feel like you're in you have the advantage there, especially if some of your guys, your depth continues to get the experience during the regular season. You get Jason Tatum back with enough time to kind of ramp it back up. I would love another series against the Knicks come playoff time. I would love that. The NBA Cup champs. I actually give the Knicks some credit for not. I thought they'd be all over a banner or something stupid like that. I have respect for that. 617-779-0985 if you want to chime in. I kind of like where the Celtics are. They've beaten Philly. They've beaten Cleveland. They've lost 2 of 3 to Detroit. I don't love that. But again, you're without your best player. And there's such a long way to go. I mean, Tatum's going to be back. We all know that. It's just a matter of when. But if you get a guy like Hugo Gonzalez contributing on the regular, you get a player like Jordan Walsh who becomes more than just, some spunky role player off the bench. And he's been that. He's been more than that. He's hitting threes. He's defensively a plus player, obviously. Derek White's your 3. I mean, all of a sudden, if you can get a little bit more development from a guy like Keita, Minot's been good. Simons has been good. I mean, you get some of these guys working and doing their thing, you have a shot. You have a shot in this Eastern Conference. That's all I'm saying. And if that's the case, this is the type of game you have to win. And tonight they did win this game. And you got to keep winning those games. You got to keep winning those games because you're not bad enough where you need to, be at the bottom of the conference or start talking about getting draft picks. Or this is not that type of team. Pritchard, Hauser even. Obviously, White and Brown have been there. Jaylen Brown is doing a fine job being your number 1 this year. Everything you could ask for and more. Jaylen Brown. Everything and more. He was a part of the reason why the Heat were outscored 37-27 in the fourth quarter. Celtics with a team record 10 3-pointers in the quarter. See, but again, though, that's my problem. I just don't like the philosophy. That's their foundation. That's when they're at their place where they want to be. I don't like relying on that structure. I just don't. Because if it doesn't fall for you, if it's not working, the ebbs and flows are too drastic, and I don't like it. And again, I've said this, I give the Celtics credit because they are not a soft football team. They are not a soft basketball team. And I think over the years they've shot a lot of threes, but they still play hard-nosed defense. They're still mentally tough, even though they shoot the threes. And in other years, teams that do that are more finesse, are softer. Mike D'Antoni and the Suns. I don't think that it's this team. I just question if the math and the probabilities will allow you to win games. And you know what? Damn it, I also think that it affects them at the end of games. I don't have the analytics. I don't have the stats to back it up. And I know people will throw those stupid, ridiculous stats at me about Jason Tatum and all the games that they've played, the numbers and the points scored and the final winning time. It's all a bunch of garbage, okay? This team has not been good enough in the close games. Maybe they haven't been as bad as I make it out to be, but they have not been good enough. And I question whether the philosophy helps with that, and I don't think it does. I don't think it does. I don't think it does. But I don't know if they're going to be drastically different come springtime. And that's all right. It's a fun brand to watch. They'll go far. If Tatum comes back, they'll make a run. They're not going to bow out in the first round, I wouldn't think. Not with Tatum back if he has the, proper amount of time to get up and running. It's a good win tonight. A lot of threes. Good win, though. I just wish they would find other ways and a different identity when they need it. I mean, sometimes I forget. You're watching the game tonight and you're thinking to yourself, oh, yeah. You remember when Derek White came here? He was a defensive player. He was known for defense, and he could hit some threes. But he was known for defense. I completely forgot about that. Like, not that he's not a good defender or he doesn't play defense anymore. He's just become such an overwhelming three-point shooter. That's how I view him now. He's a shooter. Give me some names of shooters over the years. You know? Why do I want to say Matt Harpring? Obviously, he's better than that guy. Kyle Korver. Mike Miller. Duncan Robinson. He's better than all those guys, but that's what he is. That's what he is more than anything else. He is a shooter. He's a shooter. And he plays some defense, but he's a shooter. That's awkward for me. He came here as a defender. He came here and was like the next version of, what I remember James Posey to be. 3 and D. Emphasis on D. Posey was here for his defense when they won the title in 2008. That's why he was here. He could just knock down threes. That's what I thought Derek White was. Now he's a three-point shooter. Jimmer Fredette. J.J. Redick. That's what he is. Whether they had those types of careers in the pros, it doesn't matter. They're known for their shooting. They're known for their night. It's probably more of a, like I said, Duncan Robinson, that type of guy. Not known for being the guy, but just a shooter. Peja Stojakovic. Now, I think Derek White is more well-rounded than those players, but he is now known for being a shooter. That's how I view him. He's a shooter. So, it's just, it's a fun thing to be a part of when they're winning and when the shots are falling. The problem is when they're not falling, you're handcuffed. I just feel like because then you have to find a way to shoot yourself out of it, and then you're if they're still not falling, then the hole gets too big and you're screwed. And you leave yourself vulnerable to the big swings like we saw in the playoffs last year. Knicks up 20 twice. Shots stop falling, and you can't do it. You let them come back, and it's really hard to keep it going. And I just think that that's something that they're going to have to deal with again come playoff time. But tonight it was a good win. Tonight it was a good win and one they needed to have, and this is the type of game they have to win, and they did. So give him credit, Derek White. Awesome tonight. Awesome. 9 3-pointers. As the Celtics found a way to get it done. Man, this computer's all messed up, Skaz. I don't know what I did. Now I'm going, it's like it's never been used before. Oh, this is unbelievable. Give the Heat credit. They find players, dude. They find players. And they're going to continue to be a problem, I would think, in the next few years once they get some of those guys up. And they didn't have guys tonight. And it almost looked like for 3 quarters it wasn't going to matter. And then the Celtics lost their minds. Good on them as they get the win. So, Celtics get the win. 129-116 the final as they roll along, as they get set for a back-to-back in a game in Toronto tomorrow. So the Celtics will be in Toronto, and we're going to get a headlines. We will not go to break. We'll be right back. We'll take your calls if you want to say something. If you're coming home from the game, 617-779-0985. What are your thoughts on where the Celtics are right now? Sans Jason Tatum. Do you like what they've built to this point this season? Because I do. Roster-wise, I do. It will then become, is Jason Tatum atop his game when he gets back? And does the philosophy work out? It did once. It was a different Eastern Conference. There were different injuries they were the beneficiary of, but it worked. So let's get a headlines. We're going to talk Patriots. I have a Red Sox thought. We'll be back right after the headlines. No commercials. This is the Joe Murray Show. Mark Dondero in for Joey.
From Belger Tire Studios. WBZ FM and HD1.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Belger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Beasley Media Group Station.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics' dominant fourth quarter leads to their 129-116 win over the Miami Heat. Celtics hit a team record 10 three-pointers in the fourth quarter. Derek White led the team. 9 three-pointers for White, 33 points for Derek White as the Celtics. It was close. It was tied at halftime, but they go on to win 129-116. They will be in Toronto to play the Raptors on Saturday. Patriots' final injury report of the week released today. Robert Spillane, their linebacker, will not play on Sunday Night Football against the Ravens. He's dealing with a foot injury. Other guys who are listed as questionable include Christian Barmore, Marcus Jones, Carlton Davis on the list as questionable for the game. We'll have to wait and see come Sunday night. Bruins, they won last night in Edmonton. Check that. At home against Edmonton and the Oilers. They'll be back on the ice on Saturday. They welcome in the Vancouver Canucks. Elsewhere, college football. Oklahoma, they were up 17-0 in the college football playoff. First game of the college football playoff. They are now tied early third quarter with Alabama, 17-all. And just in case you are interested, the fight tonight about to go down in Miami between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by or presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. Refresh your energy with zero sugar, essential vitamins, and proven ingredients. I'm Mark Dondero for Boston's Home for Sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Next update, 30 minutes.
Azaka got knocked down. Here's McAvoy bringing back out toward the blue line. 10 seconds to go. McAvoy down the right circle. Trying to get it in front. They score! Pavel Zacha with the game winner. And the Bruins win it in overtime 3-2.
Every Bruins game on 98.5 The Sports Hub. And
All right, back here on the Joe Murray Show. Mark Dondero in for Joey. We'll talk to you late night, Sunday night, after Patriots-Ravens on the postgame show. Should be a big one. It's going to be a big one. Okay? Not just for this season, not just for this game. Drake May, who was at the Celtics game tonight, in the box. I love it. The team's going to travel to Baltimore tomorrow, I presume. Tonight they enjoyed the game. Will Campbell chugging beers, no shirt on. I love it. It's good team building. Shows they're not, in a bad place after the loss, which was a bad loss to the Bills last week. But I expect Drake May to do what he's been doing and bounce back. He's been excellent off of losses. Not that many, obviously, this year, but every time they've lost the game, he's really bounced back strong, and I expect him to do that again come Sunday. And we'll see if they can make it happen. Look, I know this is not a conversation we want to have, but I think based on what happened last week and where we are in the season, this is an important conversation to have. Drake May has to find a way to bounce back for a multitude of reasons, not just because he needs it for his own game, but the state of the team right now calls for that from him. And I'm going to explain more. But first, let's talk to Eric in the car who wants to talk about the Celtics. Hey, Eric.
Hey, listen, most respectfully, your hot take is the Celtics take too many threes. I mean, why don't we just talk about breaking up the Jays? I mean, come on, man. They won the title 2 years ago. They're 16-11, playing great defense. I don't know, they lost on Monday. Maybe they were cold that night, but I don't know. It just seems kind of boring to talk about they take too many threes.
All right. What would be exciting for you? I feel like, look, again, we all know what works and what doesn't work in terms of winning a championship. We've seen it. Yes, the Celtics won the championship a few years ago. I'm just telling you what my opinion is. I saw how that championship run unfolded. That series was legit against the Dallas Mavericks. I give them full credit for that. See, I was a legit team. They were healthy. They had stars. They beat their ass. I just wonder if I just don't know if the three-point model gives them the advantage that they're going to need to have to win a championship. I don't know if they're going to be able to shoot three-pointers well enough in a series against a team that plays good defense, that does other things well, and go on and win a championship doing it. And I do think it affects them at the end of games. You just don't play that style at the end of a game. Do you understand what I'm saying? Run and gun, chucking threes, which again, I don't hate it. I just don't know if that's the best blueprint to win a title. And I certainly do not think, like I just said, that it helps them at the end of games. And we're not used to, we don't see them that often in that spot. And I think in a playoff situation where you're going against the same team over and over, and they're all good teams with good players that know you, I just think it's such a drastic difference when you go high octane, high up and gun, run and gun, shooting threes all season long, and then it's a grinded out end of game scenario where you don't need a three, you need a two, and then you're trying to execute that type of game or that type of play or that type of game plan. I just think they're so different, it hurts them at the end of games, especially at the end of big games in the playoffs. If that's not an exciting take, I'm sorry. But that's what I believe. I don't know why people don't ask Joe Mazzulla about this more. Maybe they do and I just miss it. They're a mentally tough group. They're a tough team. They play defense for the most part. You know, they've played defense. I don't believe that this style puts them in the best position to win close games. And I also think it puts a lot of pressure on the three-point shooting if you want to win a championship, because it can go hot and cold. There's a lot of good athletes out there. You're shooting from further away. It can go cold for you. If you're comfortable with this format, with this philosophy, then good. I mean, I would love to know if you're honestly comfortable with what you see from the Celtics down the stretch of games. I'm not as comfortable as I should be for how good they've been. That's all. And until I get more comfortable, until I see them, converting those opportunities more, I'm going to wonder. That's it. So, I mean, you want to talk about philosophies? You want to talk about style of play? I think the Patriots have a good one. I do think they have one that can win at the highest level. What Drake May can do is going to be huge once they get to that platform. What I do think he needs more of is a quick game. I would love for them to implement more of a screen game, or DeMario Douglas. I would like him involved. He was not involved against the Buffalo Bills. He's a guy that can help you beat man coverage. Stephon Diggs is more of a zone guy. He dominates the zones and finding the soft spot and all of those things. Okay? So I want to see how Drake May responds in this game. And I'm fascinated at the prospect of what he might be able to do in a bounce-back scenario. I'm a little surprised that the Ravens are favored as much as they are. What's that line right now? They're just better than Baltimore this year. Now, maybe you think that the Ravens are better right now or they're hotter right now or healthy. I don't know. And I get it that the game is in Baltimore, but I still think that this is a team. I'm just checking the line. 3 points, Baltimore favored. That might be almost more disrespectful than what happened last week. When I'll give Vegas credit, they were right. But, I mean, the Patriots are 11-3. 11-3. The Ravens are 7-7. And haven't really looked all that good on their way to going 7-7. I mean, that's pretty impressive that in terms of that the odds makers think that the Patriots are going to lose by a field goal or more. Because Baltimore has not looked right this year. They just haven't looked right. And Lamar Jackson certainly has not looked right. If you had to place a bet, see, this is kind of how I think about this game. If I had to place a bet right now on this game and who was going to play better, Lamar Jackson or Drake May, without question, I would say Drake May. Doesn't mean the Patriots are going to win, but I would say Drake May plays better. Okay, so here are the games that the Ravens have won. 7-7, okay? Week 2, they won at Cleveland. Cleveland stinks. Their best win of the year probably came when they were 1-5, when they won against the Bears 30-16. That was back on, I don't have the date of that game. They've beaten the Bears, the Browns, the Dolphins suck, the Vikings suck, the Browns again, the Jets, and the Bengals last week who quit. Yet they're somehow favored against the 11-3 Patriots. Now, I get it. The Patriots haven't played anybody all year. Fine. But every good team the Ravens have played this year, they've lost to. Every single one. They lost to Buffalo. They lost to Detroit. They lost to Kansas City. They lost to Houston. They lost to the Rams. They lost to the Steelers. And they got smoked by the Bengals the first time when the Bengals still had something to play for. I mean, they've lost every time they've played a good team. Every single time. Except for the Bears. Fine. And at that point, the Bears had not gotten hot yet. So I just, look, they're, and I wouldn't mind, they lost 2 in a row before beating a dead Bengals team last week. Now, I get they won 5 in a row before that, but I don't know, you lose 2 in a row? I'm surprised. That's all I could say. I'm surprised that they're a favorite in this game by 3. It's a big number. And if Drake May bounces back the way he's bounced back, I think it could get ugly. I don't expect it to get ugly. I expect the Patriots to win this game. I think sometimes it's hard to kind of let go of past, perceptions of teams. It takes a while to realize, hey, it took me a while this year with Mahomes. I finally got there, I think 2 weeks ago. It was like, this isn't Mahomes, the Patrick Mahomes we're used to. Stop betting on him. Stop betting on him to not throw an interception. He's going to throw an interception. This isn't the same guy. I think that same thing applies to the Ravens. I talked earlier before the Celtics game about the MVP race and why I cared about it. I'm going to bring that up again because there is definitive evidence as to why it's important or can be important for a quarterback to be the MVP of the league. 617-779-0985 if you want to jump in. This is the Joe Murray Show. Mark Dondero in for Joe.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
on the Joe Murray Show. Mark Dondero in for Joe. 617-779-0985. Celtics beat the Heat tonight, 129-116. Good win for Boston. Derek White, unconscious. Greg is in Roslindale. Hey, Greg.
Hey, how's it going? Just coming from the game tonight. So 2 quick things. And believe me, I'm not like a refs are out to get us guy.
Okay.
But tonight, the first half, I mean, lots of tic-tac fouls all in one direction. And we know the NBA definitely has that thing about it. Just felt like a game that was going to go against their way. And to your point earlier, second point, to your point earlier, they did not play well enough to win. They just were unconscious in the fourth quarter and hit every three. I mean, overall, like you said, the actual play of the game, they should have lost that game for those 2 factors. But interested in hearing your take on that. All
right, thanks, Greg. And that's what I'm saying. And Greg was there. He watched it. I mean, listen, it's a great philosophy when it's working. They're really good at it. It's fun to watch. Mathematically, analytically, I'm sure, people, they cozy up to it, the nerds and the people that do all that, whatever. I'm just saying, it feels like to me, when you think of it from the other side, a little bit risky, because if it's not working, I don't know where you turn that allows you to feel comfortable enough to do what needs to be done to win a game. And that's what I'm talking about when I mention the end of game scenarios. When you play that type of game, when you have that type of mentality, run and gun and fire from 3 constantly, it does feel a lot different when that is off the table late in the game and you have to execute an inbounds play and get 2 points, because usually you're not taking a 3. And if you are taking a 3, it's not with the same mentality that you've been playing with all game. Run and gun and high octane and chuck them. That is not what you're thinking about. You're trying to come off of a set play, an inbounds play, execute with tough defense, contact, hand fight, physicalness, and then if you do get a 3 up, it's in that vein. It's a Reggie Miller pushing Michael Jordan 98 type of 3-pointer. Not what the Celtics do. The Celtics, they come up the floor, they're coming off they're going fast, they're running up, dish, pass, kick it, 3. In rhythm, high octane. That's what they do. And I feel like that just does not allow them to feel comfortable enough in other situations, especially if you face a team that takes you out of that rhythm, that takes you away from that game plan. It just doesn't allow you to do what you need to do. And then when you are forced to have a different philosophy, you don't know how to handle it. I was wrong. Okay? I was wrong. I had said for the longest time that I thought because the Celtics always played defense well, and they were a hard-nosed team, they are a hard-nosed team, and they were mentally tough by and large. They had their issues at times, and Jason Tatum didn't look good at times when I thought he needed to take control. He didn't. He disappeared, whatever. By and large, they're a mentally tough team. I thought, though, and I would fight Felger on this, I figured because they still played defense and were not soft, I was okay with them taking 3s. I didn't like the 3s when I thought you were soft. The Mike D'Antoni Phoenix Suns from 20 years ago. That type of team. I wouldn't put the Warriors in that category. But even if you wanted to use the Warriors as a case study, look at how hard it was for them. Their most legit championship, honestly, people don't want to hear this, was against the Celtics. The first one they won before Kevin Durant, LeBron got hurt. Check that. No, Kyrie Irving got hurt, and Kevin Love got hurt. LeBron was the only one there. It was like a throwback. And they found a way to beat them. Fine. They wouldn't have won that series if Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love didn't get hurt. Then they need to bring in Kevin Durant. They just overwhelmed everybody with talent. We have Durant. It was an all-star team. Fine. They win 2 championships. Their most legit championship was against the Celtics. That was their most legit championship. The teams that chuck up the threes never seem to win. I'm not saying I don't like, there's a place for three-point shooting, obviously. But if that's what you're known for example, Oklahoma City's not known for their three-point shooting. Denver's not known for their three-point shooting. They shoot threes. Denver's known for Jokic. OKC's known for SGA, the mid-range game, playing hardcore defense. They shoot threes. Lou Dort shoots threes. They all shoot threes. But I wouldn't say that's what they're known for. And I don't think when they play and get into a situation late in the game, or if a team is playing them a certain way, they're not taken out of their game or knocked off their spot because, they can't run and gun and chuck threes. I think the Celtics, that's their MO, and that's what they want their MO to be. Missoula ball. And when they can't do it, they get like all of us do when somebody denies us what we want to do or makes something uncomfortable. We get ornery. It's not how you want to be. So I was wrong. I thought because they always play good defense, I was okay with the threes. I am no longer okay with the threes. There's a place for three-point shooting. But when you approach ridiculous numbers and attempts and all these different things, I am out. I am out on that. I think it takes them away, too far away from other aspects of the game that they need to be effective at. And I want them to hover closer to the shallow end more often. So I was wrong. But a great win tonight. Because when Derek White goes 9 for whatever he did, I'm going to look it up. What was he from 3? 9 for crap. I mean, that's a lot of fun. That's a great night. Guy tweeting at me, Derek White's still been all defense. I'm not saying he doesn't play defense. That's not what I'm saying. He's still a good defender. I'm not saying he gave up or mailed in his defense. I'm saying I don't think of him as much now as a defender because he's so overwhelmingly good at shooting threes and takes so many threes, and that's his game offensively. He's made so many. I mean, I'm just so used to him taking threes. In my mind, that's what I see him as. He is a shooter first. I'm not saying he can't defend or doesn't defend. I love it just as much as everyone else when those things are falling. It's a fun thing. I'm listening to the game, going, hey, got it, good. Like I love it, you know? It's fun. But I just feel like when the times get a little bit dicier, it just makes it harder for them to transition into a different mindset to win a game a different way. That's all. Because they're so used to doing it the way they want to do it. And a lot of times at the end of games, you're denied the ability to do that, and you have to win a different way. And then they're forced into a different mentality that they're not used to having to embrace. So that's my new developing Celtics take. I'm out on the three-pointers. Love them when they fall, but I think it's bad business overall to win a championship. So I don't know if that has to manifest itself into other, different roster philosophy in some way, shape, or form. We'll have to see. But that's where I'm at with the Celtics. Great win tonight. Derek White, awesome. Jaylen Brown, once again, above 30 with 30 points on the nose, but that's his, I think, 6th game above 30 or more points. 617-779-0985. More on the Patriots when we get back in their big matchup with the Ravens and anything else you want on the Joe Murray Show. We're going to get a headlines right now. I'm Mark Dondero in for Joey.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics get the big win over the Miami Heat tonight, 129-116. Derek White unconscious. White, 33 points. He went 9 of 14 from 3 and really set the pace for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown, once again, 30 points, helping the Celtics to that win. They will be in Toronto on Saturday to play the Raptors on a back-to-back. Patriots' final injury. I'm going to be up, I don't know. Why not turn it on? I guess it's on Netflix.
In terms of that, in terms of it being an actual sporting event or anything, no, not at all. But Anthony Joshua is.
I put it in the headlines at one point. I was like, I'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's noteworthy for sure. But Anthony Joshua, he's not Tyson Fury. He lost to I think it was Ruiz too, so he's had some big blemishes, but he is as close to the elite of elite level of top boxing you can get nowadays. So if he does anything other than drop Paul in the first couple rounds, it's the most fixed thing of all time.
Okay. Look, he's older. I think Joshua's 36, Paul's 28. I don't know how much that factors in. Paul is a lot smaller. He's big, he's thick, but Joshua's 6'6".
He's a legit 6'6".
That he's going to be. I don't know anything about boxing, but I do know if you're punching down, you're at an advantage, and he is. That is a huge height advantage.
Yeah, and this guy was the 2-time heavyweight champion, having held the unified world heavyweight championship between 2017 and 2019, and 2019 to 2021. So it's not like it was that long ago.
Not that long ago, but it feels past his prime, I guess.
Yes.
But man, that is a huge height difference. Huge. So if you feel if the guy, this to me, and again, I haven't followed all of his fights. This feels like the first real fight we've ever seen, of this YouTube guy thing. The YouTuber.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that.
Feels like because Tyson,
not really,
or he's playing he's fighting a UFC guy and a boxing guy. This is a boxer who's he's not the same age, but he's still active, and he's been atop the sport close enough. So I don't know. To me, it feels like the first time we're gonna see a real fight that Jake Paul would be in. He could get hurt. Not that I'm rooting for him to get. I'm just saying, it could be okay, or maybe the whole thing's staged or fixed. I don't know. Just want to tie up a point I was making about. And speaking of the heavyweight fight, I think you could classify Drake May and Lamar Jackson as that. I know May's still on the ascent. I know Lamar Jackson's won 2 MVPs and hasn't been the same this year. But this is a big game with 2 big-time quarterbacks. And here's why. I know people don't care about the MVP. But what I care about is Drake May sustaining, or at least trying to stay as close to this level of play as possible for good going forward. And if you're able to win the MVP, to me, that means it's more likely that you're able to sustain that level of play. Guys that have won the MVP recently, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, those guys also did it early in their careers. So those guys don't fall off when you win the MVP. Could you drop off a little? Sure. Does it mean you're going to win a Super Bowl? No, it has nothing to do with the Super Bowl. But what it does mean is you're not going to be Carson Wentz. You're not going to become Trevor Lawrence, where sometimes you look like Mac Jones. You're not going to, and Trevor Lawrence has played very well this year. The new coach, Liam Cohen, has been good for them. Maybe they come up here and beat your ass in a playoff game, the Patriots. I don't know. But he's had times where he's looked terrible, maddening. CJ Stroud disappeared for 2 years, it felt like. Jaden Daniels could be in that category. We don't know. We'll see. I'm going to give him another year to bounce back. He was injury-riddled this year. I'm just saying those guys, Justin Herbert, they've never really contended for the MVP. Herbert, the best he's done in MVP voting, 9th. Trevor Lawrence, the best he's done for the MVP, 7th. CJ Stroud, best MVP chance, 8th in the voting. That's not close enough. I want Drake May to get as close, even if he's not going to win, even if Matt Stafford's going to win, fine. I want Drake May to get as close to that number 1 spot in the MVP voting as possible in an attempt to make it less and less likely that he ends up Trevor Lawrence. I hope that's the absolute floor, Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud. The floor, Justin Herbert. That's what I'm hoping, and that's why the MVP was important to me. It has nothing to do with the Super Bowl. We know that. Rodgers won a bunch of MVPs. Rodgers also was a bona fide star quarterback, one of the elites. Now, he couldn't win the MVP because of other reasons. Bad culture, bad leader, couldn't make a comeback in the fourth quarter. And you hope Drake May doesn't follow suit in that regard. But that's why Rodgers couldn't win. He was elite, though. Talent-wise, production-wise, elite. If that's what Drake May is, all the other indications we've gotten is that he's a great leader. He has a lot of the intangibles, and I don't expect him to choke every time he gets the ball with under 2 minutes to go and a chance to win the game. Didn't happen last week or, whenever that was against Buffalo. But that's why the MVP was important to me. I want him to separate himself as much and as far as he can from those types of guys. Because this year he did. Drake May separated himself from Stroud and Lawrence. They've come up a little bit more recently in recent weeks. They've surged. And Herbert's had a good year too, but it wasn't Drake May level for most of this season. And the closer he gets to the MVP, the further he is away from them, and I hope the further he is away from being one of those quarterbacks that can sink back down. Obviously, Carson Wentz is the worst-case scenario, but even what we saw from Stroud the last couple of years sort of regressed. Justin Herbert never sort of took that next step, kind of, went backwards. Trevor Lawrence looks like bad Mac Jones at times, even this year. I don't want him to be in play for anything like that. And the closer he gets to the MVP, I feel like the less likely that is to happen. That's why it's important to me. Not about winning a Super Bowl. I know that's not really correlated. A lot of the MVPs in the past didn't win Super Bowls. Brady won way more Super Bowls than even MVPs or even than MVPs he contended for, probably. I get it. But it was still an important thing for me. And I'm hoping by the end of the season, he's right there. Probably not going to win it, but hopefully he's right there. 617-779-0985. When we get back, one more quick segment. I have a Red Sox thought I want to get to. Mark Dondero, Joe Murray Show in for Joe.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
Boston Red Sox. Just disappointing. They did generate some real momentum last year. Really, from July on, there was some real momentum. Obviously, it kind of fizzled out in October after that first game that they beat the Yankees, and then it went into the playoffs. They beat the Yankees in game 1 and then lost the 2 straight, and that was the season. Really disappointing there, but they had some good momentum until then. Obviously, Roman Anthony getting hurt didn't help. Bregman, injuries, their depth wasn't there, and that was part of the problem. That's why they need to get good players. But I've been thinking about it, and I know, it's our job to talk about the team. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. It's the baseball team here. They're wildly popular. It's been a baseball town for decades, not so much anymore, but once upon a time it was. But I'll tell you what, it really is starting to feel like a situation where you had this person you loved, this woman, whatever, and you used to be together. It was so good for so long, but then you broke up. And you always kind of wanted her back, but she went and moved on and is now married to somebody else. And here you are with your boys still talking about her and still wondering and strategizing maybe ways you can get her back and still thinking and just having energy every day focused on her when it's over. And she's moved on and she's married and gone. Not thinking about you. Done. That's what it feels like to be a fan of the Boston Red Sox right now. At least for me. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but for me. Feels that way. We sit around, we talk about what they need to do in free agency, who they could go after, what you could do to try to... No. They don't care. They are not interested. It feels like wasted breath and energy. It's really depressing. I mean, maybe it offers up some hope for us. Some teensy peephole of hope somewhere deep within. That they're still trying to win. That there's still a chance that maybe she'll come back to us and that she still thinks about us one way or another. No, she's moved on. She's married. She's making love to this other guy and they're having kids and a life. That's John Henry. He's moved on. He's not interested in winning the way he used to be. That life that you yearn for, that you remember, is over. And the energy that I spend thinking about it, and we're talking about it, and Maz, and we're, what can they do? Oh, if they get this guy, they could get this bat and bring him in and pair him with this person, and you get a pitcher, number 2, and we could be right there. No. She has moved. She's with someone else. She's not at the bar anymore. She's not looking for somebody anymore. It's over. She shut it down. They've shut it down. They are done with that life. And it's wildly disappointing.